The Prince of Waders, entering the Hudson River in New York City to learn about a unique project to restore oyster reefs with discarded shells. But why does it matter? Well, imagine a world with no trees, no more clean air, no more wildlife living among them, and weather and flooding gets worse. That's what experts say happened to New York Harbor. But instead of trees, its oysters have been wiped out and ended up in restaurant menus. Pete Malinowski, executive director of Billion Oyster Project, explains.
It's an ecosystem, it's a landscape, so it's just like clear-cutting a forest. We used to have 220,000 acres of oyster reefs. Those reefs provided food and habitat for hundreds of species. They filtered the water, stabilized the bottom, and protect the shore from waves. So without the oysters, you lose that whole landscape.
Billion Oyster Project's mission is to restore 1 billion oysters to New York Harbor to create a self-sustaining wild population, enough to filter the standing water in New York Harbor in just 3 days. Prince William met with volunteers and restaurateurs who helped collect £1.8 billion of discarded shells across the city at the project's enormous shell pile on Governor's Island, where the shells are dried out before going back into the harbour for live baby oysters to attach to. And those babies begin life in the hatchery centre, where the prince met high school students who use fish waste to grow algae. The babies then feed off this. It's a way of keeping the next generation optimistic about the environment and interested in conservation. Anne Fraioli, who's the education director at Billion Oyster Project, explains.
Having them here and being able to mix up their school day between their traditional academics and this kind of hands-on work makes for a really wonderful high school experience for them. And we're very lucky to have blocks of time with them in the afternoon where they can come into these kinds of labs and do their work.
Today, Prince William is expected to speak at the second Earthshot Prize Innovation Summit alongside some high-profile guests, including Bill Gates and former Prime Minister of New Zealand's Jacinda Ardern. 15 finalists will be unveiled and will showcase their new solutions to repair planet Earth on a global stage. Cameron Walker, GB News in New York City.